Turning to local news now, this year's Jail and Bail event will now have a whole new look. The Border Paws Animal Shelter will be having it back in person and even hosting it at their new location. People will be able to head over there during the Jail and Bail event and check out their new digs. After scale-backed events due to the pandemic in the past couple of years, they can now once again host this fundraiser normally with residents walking through the shelter.
So I feel like everyone's really excited because it's the first time we've been able to do it in person for a very long time. So yeah, especially with the silent auction too, we have so many items and it's all the local businesses that are donating. It's really, really nice to see. The response was overwhelming this year.
Many jailers are taking part in this year's event and will have a furry cellmate joining them as well. Members in the community like doctors, veterinarians, groomers, and our very own Shelby Clark are among some of the people being locked up for the day. Residents have the opportunity to donate towards a jailer and bid on silent auction items, either online or at the shelter.
For people to actually have a chance to come pop in, they can come and, see the jailers locked up as well as get to see the new building. A lot of people did come for our open house, but I mean, we weren't even halfway done. We are, I'd say, 90% complete. So yeah, no, we would love for everyone to actually stop by the new shelter. Most of it will be an online platform. TB Solutions actually donated some computers for us to use so that we can kind of get the online thing rolling. And if you want to find out about any of the jailers, it's all posted on our website with a little bit of their story as well as their picture, so you can decide who you want to donate to.
The event takes place tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. People can go online to www.lloydminsterspca.com for more information. The Old Farmer's Almanac has released its Christmas forecast. As Stacey Comer found out, people in the Lloydminster area should be prepared for a chilly holiday season.
Jack Burnett is back with me today. We are talking weather like we always do. Jack, thank you for speaking with us once again.
Stacy, it's great to be with you. Always great to be with you.
Well, let's talk about Christmas. We have just come through a spell here of some pretty cold weather that didn't make a lot of people happy. So what can you tell us for around Christmas time for weather for the Lloydminster area?
Well, I've been looking into things, and I think that if the stores still have enough stock, it might be a good time to check into some mittens and toques and things like that, because we're looking for not too bad a time at all. Snow showers and cold Christmas Eve, but it could be down there. Minus mid-20s. That's kind of the forecast for that week or 10 days. So Christmas, the chance for snow actually increases a little bit. We're looking, so in our terminology, we go from snow showers to snowy periods. We're not looking for a tremendous, Santa's sleigh to dump huge sleigh loads all over the place, but we're looking for some white stuff in the air. Again, though, in the probably in the lower minus 20s. So I think it'll be good. That's not bad. Boxing Day, pretty much more the same thing. Again, it's starting a warming trend, though. If you call a couple of degrees that low warming, but everything's relative. So that'll be good. So it's looking kind of like kind of a nice calm, white, cold, traditional holiday period there, that weekend. And then we get to the next weekend, New Year's Eve.
Right.
New Year's Eve, we kind of I don't know how to put this to you, Stacy, you and your audience, but we kind of hit the jackpot cold on New Year's Eve, almost negative 30, not quite. But it's going to be pretty chilly. So, that's great. When you're outside and your New Year's Eve, refreshment in your hand and you're skating on the pond, it forced you to put your arm around your loved one. So it's like all good. It's like really all good.
So
New Year's
tips
Day,
and an excuse to stay warm.
yeah, exactly. New Year's Day, more sun. It's still going to be cold, but again, it's going to warm up from what it was the night, day before Christmas or New Year's Eve day. But it's still, in general, the whole probably 7 or 8 days there, we're looking, the spectrum of the range is somewhere like between, -10 and -27, something like that. Day, night, sun, clouds, whatever you want. It's not going to be, Miami Beach and Lloydminster, but nor should it be, you know?
Well, and Jack, what does the Old Farmer's Almanac say overall for the winter period? I can't believe we actually haven't hit the first day of winter yet.
I
But
know, isn't that something? Yeah.
so
Yeah, overall,
what's the forecast for the winter period for this area?
yeah, so for right where you are, because you're kind of in the western edge of what we do, or the 2/3 over, but it's looking for colder than normal. You and I have discussed before, we're looking at more precipitation than normal and snow about normal, maybe slightly less, but that's not by much. In the world of meteorology, if something is like, 0.5 millimeters less, it's still, it's lower, but I mean, is that lower? So, that's what we're looking at. Again, we talked about the first part of January being cold. And so, really, though, we're looking for the cold spots, or the remaining cold spots of the winter, to be the first week of January, last week of January, and last week of February. And as far as snow goes, we're really looking for some snow events the last week of January. And specifically, I'm looking at my notes here because I looked this up for you. Specifically, like from the 19th of January until the end of the month. So that's the last, 10 days there, whatever, 12 days. So it's because that's when the remaining heavy duty snow for the winter, we see that happening. So in what I just said, cold plus snow coincides that last week of January. So those last 10 days, we're looking for a snowstorm, and we're looking for it to turn really cold. So that's going to be a hardcore like punch of winter right there at the end of January. As I said, cold weather, the remaining cold snap end of February, but after that, sure, there are going to be snowstorms, there are going to be cold snaps, but we don't see any, it's not going to be a mild winter, but it's going to be a colder winter, but it's not going to be particularly stormy and heavy duty as we kind of, slide into the spring. It'll work fine. So I think I think that's a good forecast for you. I'm glad I
Well,
live where I live, but I mean, you know, you're going to like it.
well, Jack, it's always a pleasure to speak with you, and thank you so much for the update. Hopefully, that you guys get some decent weather and can celebrate the holidays and Christmas with your loved ones and not get snowed in anywhere. So, thanks again.
Yeah.
You're always a pleasure to speak with, and I know we'll be chatting with you again in the new year.
Super, and happy holidays to you and your whole audience. We really appreciate being able to chat with you.
Now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark for your first look at weather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city, we are just sitting at -13, so not looking too bad for today. Seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud, and with that wind chill slightly past that -20 point, so hopefully everybody is still layered up because you're going to be needing those jackets outside, but hopefully everybody's enjoying it because we did see a lot more sun peeking behind those clouds throughout the day, which is always nice to see here in the winter time. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most spots are seeing those double-digit temperatures once again for today with -10 to -13 degrees in most spots over on our Alberta side. Looking at -7 over in Edmonton, so Edmonton's not looking too bad with those conditions. Going down to Provost, they're just at -8, so seeing those single digits as well, and we are seeing not too bad of temperatures for today on our Alberta side. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, we are looking still slightly cooler compared to the Alberta side as well. As we go a bit lower too, they are seeing those -15s for North Battleford and and Maidstone, while the rest are kind of matching with us. Up in Isle of Cross, they're also looking at -15. The most are sitting just at -11, -12 degrees. And we go a bit lower to Macklin, and they are at that single digit with -9. So Macklin is definitely looking the warmest compared to the rest. For North Battleford, they will be going down to a low of -20 for their evening low temperature. So cooling down quite a bit. We'll be seeing some stronger winds later on through the evening as well. So they will be feeling that wind chill, probably getting closer to that -30 point. So definitely make sure you are using your furnace, trying to stay warm, be inside as quick as possible if you can, or just try to layer up if you are going to be outside whatsoever for North Battleford. And then tomorrow they will be warming up to -8 for their Friday, so not looking too bad for their temperature tomorrow for their daytime high, and they will be seeing a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. So expecting a beautiful day for North Battleford tomorrow. Switching over to Cold Lake, they'll be going down to low -22, so cooling down quite a bit. Getting past that -20 point for their evening low temperature. They will be seeing more cold conditions. Won't be expecting too high of a chance of some flurries, which will be nice. And then tomorrow looking at -12 for their daytime high and a mixture of some sun and clouds. So they will be kind of expecting the same conditions as what they were kind of seeing for today. And going over to us here in the border city, we will be looking for at a nice temperature for our evening low tonight with -16. So not going to be cooling down as much as we've been seeing throughout the week, which will be a nice break for all of us tonight, I would say. Might not even need to plug in your vehicles, might not be a need. And then for us tomorrow for our Friday, -11. So we will be kind of cooling down a little bit, but not as cool as that we've been seeing for the past couple days as well. So seeing a beautiful day to kind of start off our weekend for our Friday with a mixture of some sun and cloud. And now looking at some hourly temperatures for tomorrow's forecast for here in the border city. As I was saying, we will be kind of starting off slightly cooler with that -14, -15 off in the morning there around 8 a.m. And then we will be warming up as we go through the evening there with around 2 p.m. even seeing -11. So definitely going to be seeing some warmer temperatures for tomorrow. And as we go on into the evening, we even will just be kind of cooling down around to that -15 point at around 10 p.m. So just be prepared. We will be expecting a beautiful day, a beautiful Friday for here in the border city. That's all I have for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Well, after their long tournament down in Nashville, the Lloydminster Steelers are back again on home territory. The Red and Black practice Thursday morning as they get prepared for their home tilt this weekend against the St. Albert Slash. This will be the first time these two teams have played each other in the border city since October 1st. When the Slash won 2-0. The Steelers, however, feel that it can be different. They can have a different outcome.
I feel like we got to capitalize on our opportunities more for sure. Like take advantage when we mess up, and we kind of miss it when they mess up. So we for sure got to just watch our backs, I think.
Puck drop time for Saturday's game will take place at 6:30 p.m. And staying with hockey here in the border city, the U18 Bobcats are hosting the Edmonton Oilers Blue this weekend. The Bobcats go into the matchup 4th in the North Division, 4 points behind the number 2 Oilers Blue. Coach Ryan Blocka puts best what youth sport is all about.
I want the kids or the young men, to get life lessons. If we're getting a bunch of life lessons, teamwork, work hard, accountability to one another, then I think we're doing our jobs. If we can win a few hockey games and move some players on, which is another goal, then we're doing really well.
Puck drop Saturday at 2:45 at the Civic Center. We wish both of those teams the best of luck. It's time now for us to check in with Shelby Clark, who has another look at weather.
Thanks so much again there, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking another extended look at your weather forecast, we will be starting off with our central zone of the provinces. And on the Alberta side, we are seeing those single-digit temperatures, which is always very nice to see. Of course, as we are heading more into December here, I think we always are really excited to be able to see those temperatures because, the worst we'll be seeing is more in January, February, but it's nice to get a nice little break meanwhile while we had those cold snaps. So seeing that -1, -2 for Rocky Mountain House and Jasper, -4 down in Red Deer. We start to cool down from there as we go a bit higher up with Edmonton and Edson at -6, -7, and seeing -11, -14 for Whitecourt and Athabasca as they start to cool down. But you know, we are getting we aren't too close to that -20 mark, so that's always very nice over on the Alberta side. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side now, they are definitely looking a lot cooler compared to the Alberta side. Most temperatures are getting closer to that -20 mark alone. -11, -12 for Meadow Lake and Saskatoon, and looking between -15 to -17 in the rest there. So even getting closer to that -20 without seeing that wind chill. So they are starting to cool down on the Saskatchewan side compared to the Alberta side. Going over to our northern zone now, they have slightly warmed up from what they were looking at yesterday, especially as we looked up at Uranium City. They were even past that -30 points and also in Stony Rapids, but now they are looking at -22, -26, so a nice break for today. Although most spots are seeing past that -20 mark, you know, they have cooled down quite a bit. It's not looking too bad. -23, -24 for Wollaston Lake and Flin Flon, and seeing that -25 in South End, and both Alosh and Buffalo Narrows are looking the warmest with -16. Going back to our Alberta side to check them out, they are looking pretty warm, definitely warmer compared to the Saskatchewan side in our northern area. As you can see, we have those single-digit temperatures with -5, -7 for Peace River and Grand Prairie. Looking at -10 down at Slave Lake, and we start to cool down as we get closer to that -20 mark. -13, -15 for Fort McMurray and Fort Chipewyan, and over in high level, just a few degrees off, seeing -17 degrees. Now, as we go over to our southern zone, we got nothing on them. As you can see, we're looking at pretty nice temperatures, especially on our Alberta side. Looking at that 1 degree for Medicine Hat and Lethbridge. They were even seeing those plus temperatures yesterday. -3, -4 for Banff and Calgary, but you know, still seeing those single digits, not looking too cool. And over in Coronation, probably looking the coolest, but still just sitting at -10. So looking at beautiful conditions over on our Alberta side here in our southern zone. And as we go over to our Saskatchewan side now, they are looking slightly cooler for sure, as they are getting more into those double-digit temperatures. Except for this area here, they are still looking quite warm. -5 for Swift Current and Moose Jaw, -8 up in Kindersley, and the rest are past that -10 mark, getting to around -13 in most. But now looking at some overnight temperatures that we will be expecting tonight. We will be looking at some spots in the surrounding area here for evening lows, and looking at some beautiful evening low temperatures coming up, as we were, you know, having that extreme cold warning in place with that cold snap earlier on. Now we are starting to warm up. Provost will be expecting the warmest with that low of -11, a low of -14, 15 for Meadow Lake and Isle Cross, and Paradise Hill and Bonnyville. We'll be expecting a low of -16 to 18 degrees, so not even hitting that -20 mark yet. But with that wind chill, of course, we will be passing it, although tonight will definitely be a nicer night than what we have been seeing. And now looking at your 3-day forecast starting off for here in the border city, we will be looking at -11, -12 for our weekend. Not too bad of temperatures with a mixture of some sun and cloud. So make sure to get some holiday shopping done. You know, have a great time, because we will be cooling down after this. And then Sunday to end it off, we'll even be warming up there at -6. So kind of warming up there. But as we head into next week here, we will be looking at some double-digit temperatures make their way again on Monday with -13, getting closer to that -20 on Tuesday, and then we actually will be warming up Wednesday and Thursday. And don't worry, doesn't seem like we have too much of a high chance of some flurries coming up here. That's all I have for now. Our Jace Mackey will have more news coming up after the break.
I'm happy to be joined here with the Imam of the Betul Aman Mosque, Saqib Zafar. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Abby. I'm glad to be here.
Of course. Now, there is an Explore Islam open house happening this Sunday at the mosque. Tell me a little bit about what that is and what people can expect if they want to come out.
Right. So, as you've mentioned, I serve as the Imam of the Betul Aman Mosque here. We are Muslims who believe in the Latter-day Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. And so this event that we're doing on this Sunday, it's basically, when I meet people as an Imam, as a missionary, I get asked a lot of questions about Islam, and obviously many of them are allegations. And so this is an opportunity or an event that we're doing to basically invite anyone and everyone basically, and they can come join us, and we will give them a little bit of a tour of what our mosque is, what are some of our fundamental beliefs as a Muslim, and I guess teach them a little bit about what the Holy Quran is, who the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who he was, right? So I understand the people living in the Western society, there's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings and questions that some people have. And so perhaps this event is one of the ways that we try and connect and link with people and clear those misconceptions and misunderstandings.
And that's amazing, and it goes into my next question, because there are so many misconceptions
Right.
with the Muslim religion, and the everything that goes on. There's so many misconceptions and misleading. So what is the importance of holding this open house? Kind of go more in depth on the importance of showing the Western world and showing the public here in Lloydminster what you guys
Right.
actually do.
Right. So this is just one, like I've mentioned, this is one of the events that we're doing. We're always reaching out to the general public here. We're also holding or doing a 1 million pounds of food, and we will be collecting it from our members, whether it's in the form of money or foods itself, whether it's canned or dried foods. And we give it back to the homeless shelters, men's shelters. So different ways we try and give back to the community as well, to try and basically change that narrative that has taken place within the minds and within the general public that all Muslims are bad or something of that sort. That's not the case. If the point is to basically connect with people and let them know that there are peaceful Muslims living within your communities who are promoting peace and harmony and who are doing all of these things, trying to reach out, trying to help and give back to the communities.
And that sounds absolutely amazing. Something like this will definitely open people's eyes up a little bit more, which is so important, because everybody has different belief systems, and it's all just about respecting each other's belief
Right.
systems, which is the most important thing, especially because, there's culture within everything, and it is beautiful.
Right.
Watching and seeing and learning about other people's culture. So that's absolutely amazing. Now, the open house is happening on Sunday.
Right.
What are the times that people should show up, and kind of, is it free admission? What should people know when they want, if they do want to come out to look
So
around?
the event is taking place from 2 to 4 p.m., right? I know Sunday is also the service at the churches as well. I had went out to a few churches myself and visited them, and I spoke to a pastor and a reverend as well. So I know the service happens in the morning. So perhaps if there are people who would like to join us after their service, they're more than welcome to do so. So 2 to 4 p.m. is the mosque open house that we will be having, and then there will be refreshments, complimentary refreshments made available for the guests who arrive.
Awesome. And now, is there anything that you would like to add ahead of the open house, in case I didn't ask it?
I just want to send out an invite, I guess, to the listeners who are listening to this, that everyone is welcome to join us for this Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. Abby, yourself as well. And then hopefully, if there are any questions that people have that I can answer for them, I would be more than happy to. And at the same time, it will give me an opportunity to also learn from different perspectives and different ideas that people may have, or something that we could do in the future. So perhaps an idea that people may have, they can bring it in, share with me, and perhaps we could do something different in the future as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And I do wish you luck for the open house. I think it's amazing that you're opening up your doors to the community, and just to show what you guys actually believe in, and, the beliefs that you guys have within your culture. So thank you so
Right.
much.
Thank you so much, Abby. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You too.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Inside Education Society of Alberta recently received over $60,000 in grant funding from the TELUS Friendly Futures Foundation. Now, I'm joined today by Steve McIsaac, the Executive Director of Inside Education. Steve, let's just start with what this money is going to support.
So we were delighted to receive the funding from the TELUS Friendly Future Foundation. It's supporting Inside Education's Clean Air Responsible Schools program, which is the kind of the scaling up and the repurposing of an air quality education program that we've delivered in the past, but it's kind of taking it to more 21st century learning. The grant that we received was part of the innovation focus of the Friendly Future Foundation from TELUS. So we were able to engage some new technology to help young people across Alberta and into Saskatchewan learn about air quality around their school.
Now, you mentioned that this funding is going to be supporting youth across Alberta, and that includes youth here in Lloydminster.
That's correct. Yeah, we've got a long relationship both with the Lakeland Industry and Community Association, and we worked a lot with ES Laird Middle School over the years. So we're expecting to lean on our good friend Sean Donald at ES Laird in the coming weeks. So it is going to be available to schools, and really the great part about it's a curriculum enhancement opportunity. So while the programs of studies in Alberta and Saskatchewan are slightly different, the idea is to take this as being part of a science unit, but also scale it up into the action that young people can take to help influence air quality around their school.
Can you go a little more in depth into how this money will be used and how students will benefit from it?
So again, the Friendly Future Foundation innovation component is enabling us to secure some pretty, we think, amazing air quality sensors being developed out of a pretty highly respected US firm called Timbu. It's their Internet of Things air quality sensor. So the schools that are identified to participate in the program will receive one of these outdoor air quality monitoring tools. And we're going to leave it to them to sort of decide what they want to study around their school. Though one of the things that we realize around schools, particularly when we're talking about air quality, is at certain times of day, mainly drop off and pick up at the beginning, at the end of the day, certainly vehicle traffic is quite high. So we're going to encourage the students to study what's the air quality like at these different times of day. And if it's not as good as we might want it to be, what sort of things can be done to help improve it? Maybe we stagger where vehicles are parked. We talk about idling ideas and best practices in vehicle idling. So really it's taking a citizen science approach. So the students get to do the real science. And then kind of the so what component is, what are we going to do about what we've learned and discovered about air quality around our school? We think it's going to be a fun program. It's going to be using real science. We're also going to be supporting teachers, so they're not entering into the project blindly, providing them some great information from LICA and from the other air quality monitoring airsheds across Alberta mainly. So there'll be a scale up opportunity for teachers and for students.
Yeah, this sounds like a very exciting learning opportunity for students. How exciting was it for Inside Education to receive this grant?
So this has been was a really exciting opportunity. We as we're moving into more 21st century learning within our organization, Inside Education, the TELUS Friendly Future Foundation grant is enabling us to engage even more advanced technology and then extrapolate that and take that into schools and get young people excited about the use of technology. and how that is going to affect their future. Kids love to play with the technology. I'm guessing that they're going to be the ones troubleshooting the technology rather than their teachers. So we're excited to be able to provide those opportunities for young people to engage with technology and also to make a difference when it comes to environmental sustainability and to ambient air quality.
Now that leads into my final question of why is it so important to address the issue of air pollution?
When we're talking to young people a lot about issues related to our air and our climate, it can be a daunting reality for young people. What this program is going to be able to do is to demonstrate that personal action can make a difference. We have to understand that young people spend a good part of their waking hours at school, so part of their natural environment is the school. If they can see a difference in air quality because of what they've done, we believe it'll motivate them to continue to engage in productive solutions and measuring air quality, making a change around their local environment. We just think it's a great place to start.
That's awesome, Steve. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
We're thrilled to get started. We're really appreciative of the TELUS Friendly Future Foundation for the support, and we're going to be contacting LICA to nominate schools in the Lakeland region and schools throughout Lloydminster early in the new year. So we can't wait to get started.
And that's all the time we have for this edition of Primetime Local News on this Thursday night. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.